Hi, I am Elray, Rocklie, Baiño, Yahon from BSME 1E M5, and I live in Cogon, Balingasag, Misamis Oriental. So, the first in this performance task is describe your day-to-day routine for online classes. So, kanang usahay dili man gyud per mi mag-meet, kanang mag-webex or Gmeet, but kanang ang akong yung routine is mag-study, magtabang pod sa balay mga liukonon, o kanang mga suguonon ni nanay or tatay. So dani ang first question is, what are some challenges you faced when taking online classes? So for this kind of situation, for this pandemic, and I know nga a lot of us may experience kanang difficulties yun, pero as a student, to my side is kanang dako gid siya nga factor as a student na kanang bitong sa way of my learning, because I cannot see kanang sometimes my teachers does not include asynchronous classes, just synchronous. They just send us PDFs or anything else that we can learn too. So it's hard for me to learn or understand because no one can assess what are my further questions for a certain topic. So the next question is, how does this current mode of education affect your performance as a student? So, as I've said earlier for my first question is, it really does affect me as a student to my performance, because me as a student coming from a UM strand and taking up engineering in this course, of course I don't deal with calculus, chemistry, and anything that includes math. So it's hard for me to cope up because there are certain topics that I cannot grasp into, because sometimes when your teacher asks you that, class, do you understand, is everything clear, like that, and when you there is some certain anxiety that can cross up to your mind, because you cannot see your classmates, you cannot see your teacher, you just only hear them, but your anxiety is telling you na don't question, because your classmates might laugh at you, might laugh at your questions. Those anxiety is building up in my mind that don't ask questions, because your classmates might get bothered or annoyed by your questions to be further assessed for those questions na lisod masabtan sa calculus or anything na related sa math. Kay ako kay ako murag kanang gina-cope up dani nga course, because dealing with UMs is really like writing essays, taking up those things that related to humanities and social sciences. So there are no maths about engineering, sciences, so it's hard for me to cope up, especially those anxiety that coming up to my mind. For this last question is, what are your recommendations to improve the current flexible mode of education? So my kanang recommendation is for us, the student, to have stable connections, because sometimes kanang dili na mo kanang mag-grasp ito ang knowledge or kanang learning nga i-teach ang teachers is maka-search rami, maka-look up rami sa internet, and maka-gather ang informations, maka-notes, maka-handout sa mga datas. Tapos karon man gud nga situation is kanang sa amo po diri sa Balingasag is kanang it's hard for us to have kanang stable connection, because when you try to connect with PLDT, it's really quite expensive for us na kanang nalang sa kanang middle class, tapos kanang my parents kanang really doesn't have any kanang any money or any funds to supply us for the demands of internet. So for us to cope up with this online classes, kanang usahay maludan mi sa kaning packet wifi na hinatag, or nana kanang like once a week lang, tapos pagkasunod din na week wala na dayon usahay maglisod mi cope up sa kwan. And maybe though this recommendation nga kanang for us na maka-cope up with any online class is the stability of the internet connection. And that's all. This is me, Elray, Rocklie, Baiño, Yahon from Balingasag, Misamis Oriental, and coming from BSME 1E. That's all.